Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up with a layout today for Confessions of a Paper Addict, and this is a fun one. I am doing a layout of my son's second birthday. So I have got this 12 by 12 piece of paper, which is actually from Kaiser Craft, and it's already got this kind of resist pattern on it. So it's got this swirly pattern. I bought it a long time ago. I don't believe it's still available. It's been in my stash for years. And I pulled it out to use, and it's been sitting on my desk, and I've tried it on a few different layouts, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go with some ink blending, because it had this almost stenciled effect where the swirls and everything are in like a embossed clear medium. I don't even know what it is, but I knew it would resist ink because it's glossy. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try stenciling over the top and see how it looks. And I think it's really cool. So I used faded jeans and, let me just check what the other one is, broken china, Distress Oxide. I just grabbed my makeup brush from Kmart, and I was just going to ink blend underneath where my photos will be, but as I was doing it, I thought it looked kind of cool, and I wanted to continue the effect. So I ended up kind of ink blending, obviously in a square shape, and leaving a bit of a border around the edge, almost to form a bit of a natural border around the page. Now, this cut file that I've got here is called Train and Tracks cut file, but spoiler alert, I don't actually end up using this train. I pull in the train from a different cut file, which I will tell you when I get to that point. But I really liked the tracks, and I knew I wanted to include the tracks. I just was worried that the train may have been a bit small. In hindsight, I think it would have worked fine, but I do end up pulling in a bigger train. So I'll show you as we get to that point. I am using a baby collection that I'm trying to scrap with in the month of May, and it's sort of a bit of a hodgepodge mix of things. This is a paper pad that I bought from Spotlight. And then I've just got some ephemera from Pink Fresh Little Adventurer, I think it's called. It's an older collection. I don't have anything else from that collection, just an ephemera pack. So yeah, that's what I'm using. I've matted my photos, so they were on white cardstock, and then I also matted them on some pattern paper cardstock. So that was from my paper pad. So that is the only thing I use from the paper pad. I don't use any other pattern paper because obviously my background is pretty intense. These frames that I pulled out from the ephemera pack in the Little Adventurer collection are obviously just slightly larger than 3x4, but they are the perfect size for matting photos. So I did and ah about using them as frames, but I end up actually just using them kind of as a layering piece. And you can see me here kind of just creating, in the end I just go with 2 clusters for my embellishments. So I've kind of got a bit of a, I don't know if you'd call it a grid layout going on, but there's definitely a larger, it's sort of a grid shape. So I thought the 2 clusters worked well because I've got the 4 photos. Now this is a point where I bring in the larger train. So this train is actually from the Choo Choo cut file. Well, it is the Choo Choo cut file. The large train is the main part of that cut file, the only part of that cut file. And I just thought it needed a slightly bigger train, but I really wanted the tracks. So I did back, obviously, both the trains using my pattern papers from the sort of baby collections I'm trying to work through this month. But I decided the small one was just a little small and I wanted the slightly bigger one. So that's what I did. I went with it. Now I'm just going to glue down my tracks and then put the whole thing together. So it's pretty much going to come together exactly as you saw it. You saw me fiddling around and placing things, and that's pretty much where I leave it. It just takes me a little bit to glue everything down. I'm having to use wet glue. Well, I used wet glue because I was a little bit worried with this background that my ATG tape wouldn't adhere properly and certainly wouldn't stand up to the test of time. So I do end up using wet glue for almost everything. So I'm just going to layer my photos up and stick those down first, but I knew there was a few that needed to be kind of put under things or on top of things, and so it was a bit of a process to stick everything down. My photos are, as I said, of my son's 2nd birthday. I made this cake with the help of my mother. She did do she was a big help. We did make it together, but she was definitely a big help in putting this train cake together. It is one of the Women's Weekly train cakes. If you're in Australia, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Potentially New Zealand as well. I'm not sure if it's a hit over there too. But Women's Weekly brought out a whole range of kids' party cake books. And as a kid, I always used to look through it and pick which cake I wanted mum to make for that year. And so the train cake was always a big one. This isn't the train cake. The train cake on the front cover of one of the Women's Weekly cake books is actually, it's more like the train in the cut file. It's got the carriages as well as the caboose. But this is also another version of, a train cake in the Women's Weekly cake book, and it is just obviously the actual train itself. So I went with that one first. He was too little to really need the full-on train cake with all of the carriages and things, because there was only immediate family at, his birthday party. So just his cousins and my sister and my brother-in-law, my mum and dad, and then my partner's mum. That was all that was there. Now, I have already created my title, and I wanted to use these stickers from one of the sets that I'm trying to work through, and so I wanted the Stay Wild. I thought it kind of fit with the theme, and then I also added Birthday Boy. So Stay Wild, Birthday Boy is the title, and I do have to come back and stick those grey thicker Stay Wild down with wet glue because it doesn't stick properly. But the others are all good. So make sure you check out the description box down below, because it will have the direct link to these cut files in the Etsy store. But also I will have the Facebook group linked. And I know I say this in every video that you see about me in my DT work for Confessions of a Paper Addict. But honestly, if you're on Facebook, come and join the Facebook group, because Virginia releases free cut files there every month, which then do make it into the shop, but obviously you have to pay for them once they're in the shop. So definitely come and hang out, because you do get free cut files, which is a lot of fun. And then, we have a lot of fun. We do some fun things. We occasionally have crops and challenges and monthly mood boards and all sorts of things. So definitely come and hang out with us. This is a trick I got from, it was either Janet, I think it was Janet, or it might have been Jackie, who used their stamp block to hold down parts of their layout while they are creating. And I've got a little Charms Creations star that I've added to this layout. So they are handmade embellishments from a wonderful lady here in Australia. She is in South Australia, in Adelaide, I believe. And she makes these cute little embellishments, and they take a little bit to stick. So I just needed something to weigh it down for the glue to adhere, because they are fabric, and so they just need a little bit of extra time. So I just weighed that down with my stamp block while I was sticking down all these other bits and pieces. Now I come back in with some final splatters, and then we are all done. So thank you so much for watching this, guys. I've really enjoyed putting this layout together for you. I love documenting these photos. I loved the cake that I made, and I thought these cut files were perfect. You saw me bringing that train there, and I had thought to myself, oh, I should have put that train up the top there where that second cluster is, but I didn't. So stay tuned. I will have some close-ups here at the end for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. All right, guys, don't forget to check out the description box down below for everything that you need. Thanks, guys. Bye.